Good evening. We've played the game. We didn't break the rules. We've played it cool. And do you know what? I think maybe they haven't had that extra drink today. It's 8 p.m. UK time. It's 9 p.m. Central European time. You are watching ESC Fan TV. After the party is over, guys, we're going to work our way through this. Do you know what? The first thing we're going to do, I think, the easiest thing to do, is we're going to go straight to the bottom. Now, this was our final results scoreboard. As we can see, setting a record or continuing their record, poor old Norway there, propping it up in 25th place, along with Austria just ahead of it. Poor Kahleen, but hopefully she's still raving, and the lovely Slovenia. Let's remind ourselves of these performances and see if they actually deserved such a rough ride in the vote last week. There we go. Let's start with Mick. Mick, start us off.
Yeah.
What went wrong?
What went wrong? Well, to be honest, I didn't know what went wrong with Norway because I expected a lot, but not finishing them last place. I thought the singing was excellent, the staging was superb. They were on the roll. I don't know if I actually don't know what went wrong. The song might not be your cup of tea, but it was extraordinary enough to stand out for some. It wasn't a bland, bash song. So, no, I couldn't tell you what went wrong with that. With Austria, though, whatever, I think it was the lack of vocal. She was clearly lip syncing to her own back sound. So it was, to me, it was all substance with little, or all style without a bit of substance. So I think that killed her off. Plus, there were so many bops this year, and then you have to choose what is better for your taste. I think the other, especially Georgia, and I think Cyprus were a bit more up there than Austria, according to the voters. And Slovenia, actually, I did predict them to be around the 20th until 25th place. Yeah. And that has nothing to do with the quality of the song, but I felt that it was a bit of inaccessible to the main audience. So, yeah, that's my opinion.
Thanks for starting us off with some great points there. I'm going to have to go to Sean because we've got a comment in the chat room from Elliot, and good evening to Elliot as well. It says, surprised by Norway. Kino Stums won't let us hear the end of it. Slovenia, I had last moment I saw there between Croatia and Switzerland. But as someone who is a Kano aficionado, what could Norway do?
Saying Kano. I mean, it was. I know. Was I feeling a little bit gleeful when Norway came last? Maybe. Because...
Well, I'd just like to say that when they did come last, I've never seen Sean look so happy in all his life. He ran around the house, ran into the other room, screaming, going, yes! He was going, justice for Kano! Is how Sean reacted to it.
Yeah, I thought I was pretty subdued, in all fairness.
As someone who was actually there, Sean, I'm not sure your recollection of events tallies with everyone else.
I'm blaming the gin and the vodka and the
And the rum.
Disaronno and the
And your
rum.
personality.
Oh, wow! What a bitch! We'll put a bowl of milk down for Nick.
Love you.
But I mean, if I'm being honest, it was just wailing noise. It really was. It just came across as being wailing noise to me, and I don't think it was very appealing at all. Sorry. Slovenia, Raven, Veronica. It's a great song, don't get me wrong, but it was just a bit seedy because the dancers were wearing nothing but bare flesh-coloured underwear, and she was wearing something that was completely see-through. And if you look at the results this year, I don't think that went down very well, because the entries that were scantily clad, shall we say, didn't do very well at all. So,
Well,
yeah.
Smart was clearly out, and I'd like to go to Ian and Donna on this, because obviously Slovenia, very risque performance, and they wore flesh-coloured suits. Now, I would, and you come back at me for this, because this is a point of view I would take, is that one of the problems is that, yes, it was risque, yes, they had flesh-coloured suits on, but in actual fact, those flesh-coloured suits weren't actually that very flattering either, because you could tell they were flesh-coloured suits, and it just looked like they'd forgotten to put half their clothes on when they started the performance. I don't know. Come back at me on that. What do you think?
The flesh colour stuff's fairly standard dance material. It's used a lot in ballet, theatre, musical theatre, and so on. So that using your flesh coloured stuff to cover is fairly standard. It's not, it's pretty good for dance. It's not used for telly, because part of the thing with telly is you see all the detail. When you're on the stage, it blends in much more, but with the close-up cameras, you see every detail of wrinkles and stuff in the costumes. I mean, with Selena, her costume there wasn't a lot there. There was just some quite strategic covering
that lit up, or seemed to light up later on.
Quite a lot.
It just looked like she got glowy bits.
I just didn't seem to gel quite well. I was quite surprised that one got through from the semi-final. I thought that would it wouldn't have got through.
I don't know. She sings very well. Her performance is good, but I don't think it connects with the story. That's the problem with that one. And Norway, sadly, lost something from the national final. I'm not really sure if it was to do with some of the atmospherics in the visuals, and her turntable didn't seem the camera angles were not quite right. There's little bits that didn't really give the atmosphere the way it did in the national final for me, which was a bit of a shame. I don't know. She didn't seem as comfortable either in her vocal. So I don't know. Austria is just, as Nick said, there's not really much lead vocal. She heavily relies on that backing so much. It just gets lost in the track.
Yeah,
really.
And even when she started to ad lib off it, it just didn't quite work.
Yeah, and that suit that she got, lovely as it was, didn't really cut it. The bums are not doing it, are they, this year? Even the Spanish bums didn't really do it either.
They were,
maybe it's because they put tights on them instead of just having bare bums.
Yeah, same with Finland as well. Finland's
jockstrap
nudity didn't really click. And actually, there's two big fan favourites that
they did do a better job. I thought the camera angles did a better job than the Slovenian one. I thought the biggest problem with Slovenia is that the lighting and the the whole direction of Slovenia's entry left so little to the imagination. Not in terms of this is risque, as in we've lit this really shite, and you can actually see kind of like the trickery that we're trying to pull it off. The word amateurish would be.
Whereas Finland got it bang on.
Yeah.
The clever tricks of things hidden. It's a good comedy gag.
Yeah.
Ian, they did. It was bob on. Apart from this moment. Now it's pixelated out for our viewers, But I didn't realise it happened on the night until I rewatched bits of it.
Yeah.
It really
Bits of it.
It
You
was
repeatedly
saying-
paused it, didn't you? You paused
Shoot.
it and paused
Well,
it and paused it.
He really dropped the ball, didn't he? I think. So,
I
let's
think we should move on.
let's move on. Mick, you were in the arena, were you not? So, was it obvious these three were coming last?
For Norway, no, I didn't think so. I mean, Austria was a good way to finish. You know, it was a good way to round off the competition in the final, and everybody seemed to enjoy it in the arena. But yeah, the two medieval songs, as it were, you know, didn't appeal to anybody at Slovenia. I quite like the lit up clams. I might have to see if I can get a T-shirt with those on, Sean.
Oh dear.
But who was the other one? Bear with me. Slovenia, Austria,
Slovenia,
Norway.
Austria, and Norway.
Yeah. I think I like a lot of people. I think I was surprised by Slovenia qualifying. I'm glad they did, but yeah, I think overall, other than Norway, I would have put maybe Slovenia and Austria down towards the bottom there. But there's nothing wrong in the performances as such themselves. I think it's you know, somebody's got to come last, and it's poor old Norway.
Yeah, it is true. It's their 14th last placing. Phil and Michelle, any final comments on this?
Yeah, I was like a lot of people. I was surprised by Norway, but I think to some extent it was another Fulham, and that Fulham didn't do well either, did it? In the final,
that was last, I think, as well.
Yeah, and that was, you know, a similar sort of vein. You know, a folky, traditional folky from a certain region.
Phil informed me that they had to change the words because they had thieved it from an actual folk song, and they had to change the words so that it wasn't thievery.
It wasn't like, you know, it wasn't an old song, because you know, you've got to not have a release song before September, have you?
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I thought it would have done better though, to be fair. I thought it was really good.
I was a bit surprised by Austria, but it wasn't. I know you must be gutted by Austria, Tom, because it was one of your favourites, wasn't it?
It was one of my favourites.
Oh,
I was the kiss of death for Austria this year.
It's not like you, Tom.
yeah.
I think the vocals were just too weak. Yeah, the vocals were just too weak. That's all. There's nothing scientific about it. That's just how it came across. And who else was?
Slovenia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think if she'd have actually worn a bit more clothing, it might have done better. But you know, like a lot of people said, I mean, I don't mind semi-naked women, but it just puts some people off, and it's probably not very good if if you're hoping to score well.
You are partial to a nude bodysuit as well. If you go back and look at the awards shows.
Oh god.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. We will leave it there, guys. This has been ESC Fan TV covering Eurovision 2024. Enjoy the off season. We'll be back soon. But from all of us, it's ta-ra for now. Bye-bye.